One of the first tools we created for my hotel wedding was our hotel wedding checklist, and it's actually still one of my favorite tools. And whether you're having a hotel wedding or you're getting married at a vineyard, a barn, or whatever it may be, this is still a really great tool for you to utilize as you're making calls and even when you're making your first visit to the site. So you can find this tool by hovering your mouse over Login Account, select Bride and Groom. If you already have a My Hotel Wedding account, simply sign in. If not, it's completely free. You can create one by filling out the information on the right-hand side. So we're gonna log in here. And once you log in, hover your mouse over Planning Tools and click Hotel Checklist. And you'll see there's this downloadable PDF that you can save to your desktop, print out, whatever you desire. But I just wanna highlight a couple of items that I think are really important too. So the first question is your desired wedding date available? Some couples want to get married on their anniversary or have a very specific date in mind already. Ask it up front, first thing out of the gate, because if it's not available, why continue on? Another question I really think is important to bring up is what time can your wedding go till? If you're a couple that wants to go till 3 or 4 in the morning, this is really important to ask because the venue might have noise restrictions and won't let you play music past midnight. So if it's one of those places and it doesn't work for you, again, you know right away and you can keep on moving. Another question I think that's nice to kind of have answered at the beginning is a wedding planner required? Because this definitely affects your budget in a bigger way. So it's good to know either way, and then you can kind of take that information and move forward. In terms of your first visit, when you're there, I always like to ask what the house linens look like and what the hotel chairs look like. Because this kind of, again, is something that will figure into your budget. If they look great, wonderful. That's one less thing you have to budget for overall. If they aren't, then you might want to think about renting a Chiavari chair, doing a rented linen, and all these things affect your budget. So it's great to know kind of at the beginning if that's something you need to invest in. The question I really like to ask is what's the maximum capacity of the room with the dance floor? You may already know from that initial call that your wedding venue can hold, say, about 100 people. But say mom and dad want to invite more and all of a sudden your guest list has jumped up to 200. So it's good to know ahead of time if you can grow into the space, if there is room to grow or not, because again, this can kind of affect where you decide to host your wedding. Another question I get a lot from couples are there any costs they're overlooking? And one of the things I think is always forgotten and I try to remind all the couples about is vendor meals. You definitely need to feed your vendors on your wedding day. A lot of them have built this into their contract as a requirement, and this can be a small or large additional cost depending on if you have a band, if you have multiple photographers, videographers. This can be anywhere from 5 people to 20 people. So again, as it affects your budget so much, I think it's really important to ask on that visit, how much are the vendor meals, so you can factor that in to your overall budget and decision-making process in your venue. And then another thing is if you're on a budget or the hotel you're looking at is a little bit over what you were hoping to spend, I'd ask right there and then, is there a different price based on the night of the week? You'll find Saturday night is the most popular night for events. Sunday and Friday are less peak nights. And then perhaps maybe you have a Wednesday wedding or a Thursday wedding before a holiday weekend, or who knows? The options are endless, but this is a great question to ask. So hopefully you'll find all this a little bit more informative and helpful in your process. Happy wedding planning.